Welcome to CryptoText Cryptodinner. Today our speaker is Dean Rakic. Dean was the speaker on BlockchainUA conference yesterday, and welcome to Ukraine, welcome to Dean. Please tell a bit about yourself, what are you doing and how you came to the blockchain industry.
Thank you for the invitation, the first, and also for recommendation for the conference that held yesterday here in Kiev. First of all, I would like to say that I'm really impressed about community around the blockchain and the crypto here in the Ukraine and Kiev, and probably I will do some more business here in the next period. My involvement in the blockchain technology and industry at all comes something about 5 years ago. Nevertheless, I'm almost 30 years in the software development industry, and in the last 5 years, I was just step by step comes up into the blockchain technology. First of all, the first point is it was just a research. What is it? How it's working? Where should be that implemented? Or is it possible to implement or not to implement, and so on. And in the last 2 years, I did a lot of public speeches about the blockchain implementation in some different fields. For instance, in healthcare, in e-health, digital healthcare, and also in the supply chain, in manufacturing, and also in some tourism and such kind of different sides of daily life usage.
Yeah, and the topic of today's meeting, we have blockchain for health and for manufacturing.
Yes.
Can you maybe say a bit how do you see these two industries in general are developing, and in particular maybe there are some interesting projects with which you are working now and that you can make some real-life use cases of these industries?
Yes, first of all, maybe it will be interesting to say something about the manufacturing, about the production or supply chain at all, because all of those tiny parts, manufacturing productions, are the parts of overall supply chain. The supply chain we have as a process in which the business receives some raw materials. It should be produced or reproduced or manufactured from some raw material into some values, to convert some raw material into values. That values should be transferred to the end user or to the customer. The whole process contains so many steps or tiny parts that are involved in that process. That process from supplier or from the raw material up to the production, and also during the process of distribution and transportation, lead us to the end customer. There's so many parts that should be analyzed and find some features, more features, new features, or to analyze if there are some obstacles, if there are still happens and still remains. Nevertheless, the digitization comes also in the world of supply chain. Maybe the needs and the aim of supply chain should from the definition should lead us to some obstacles. How that happens and what are the needs. As the first aim of supply chain is to deliver one maximum of the value. What that means if you deliver the maximum of the value. From the raw material, you have to make at least possible costs of production, of distribution, of manipulation, and to give to the end consumer, to the customer, the maximum of the value after the production. That leads us to some more needs like responsiveness, traceability, accountability, security, and much more. Some more other points that are really important for the complete process of supply chain during the process. For the responsiveness, for example, we need just-in-time production. It's a really needed point in the complete process, and I hope, besides the traceability and security, which are already somehow implemented by the blockchain and distributed ledger technologies based on blockchain and distributed technology, responsiveness will be one of the I can say top point of top topic for the supply chain management in the future. Also, the another topic you have already mentioned is the healthcare. I already did so many papers in the healthcare, because the healthcare is, I will say, hot potato from the implementation side. Nevertheless, we have so many digital parts that already involved in the overall healthcare in the medical field. It's not only about we cannot talk about only a digital measurement of a blood pressure or ECGs converting or some CT measurements or anything. We talk about the data and the obstacles between the data that are managed inside the healthcare process. In the healthcare, it's still remaining a problem about that is named as interoperability. The interoperability is a process that makes different parties to communicate on a simpler and unique way. We are still some of the sites from the interoperability has already fulfilled by implementing distributed ledger technology. It's covered, but most of them are still open to be resolved in the near future. It's not only about the we are talking every day on a relation patient and physician or a doctor. How the data are transferred between the patient from one side, the user, or also the user from another side, the physician or a doctor. We forgot always the another parties in that healthcare system. There are also insurance companies. They also need to exchange the data about the patient, about the treatments, about any kind of parties that are involved in that process. They are indexing so many data. They're producing data and indexing so many data. The data remains elsewhere in the system. They are fragmented inside the healthcare system at all. And the fragmentation that happens, we can cover with the blockchain technology, especially with the distributed ledger technology. Not only with the public, but in the combination between the some high. From public to the private blockchain technology based on those prototypes.
Yesterday in your speech you mentioned two German companies, Porsche and Mercedes,
yes,
which are working on the creation of their own coins. Can you evolve more about this?
Yes, of course. That's I said like a little like a remaining joke because I comes from Stuttgart. I live in Stuttgart, and this is an industrial valley because the most important parts of German economy happens in their part of the country. The production, the industry are based on Daimler, on Mercedes, and also Porsche, Bosch. They are all of them are their headquarters are in Stuttgart based, and they are producing most of the parts or complete products that are on the market today. Nevertheless, the automotive industry or electronics. The Mercedes has already crypto coin developed last year and tested on 500 vehicles about the corresponding people and the economy inside from the vehicle and to the outside. Also, the Porsche, with helping with one company from Berlin, has already implemented identity management blockchain technology inside their vehicles, and I hope it will be soon on the public, on the road to test it.
Interesting. Also, I remember in Frankfurt at the conference where we met, there was IOTA speaker who spoke about this example, which they like to repeat, that the car will pay in IOTA for itself for fueling.
Yeah.
In a streaming mode because of. And do you know something is
yes,
how this is developed?
The IOTA is also one part of the or a particular part of blockchain umbrella at all. It's a micropayment methodology. It's also really good based on a mathematical methodology base, and I hope it has a future in the next period, and especially in the IoT and in the industry field. Is it possible to pay something? Of course it is possible. If we adopt that as a methodology for a payment, it is not only if it will be IOTA or some other coins or crypto or any kind. If we agree that we will use that in our payment day life methodology, we will use it. It's very simple. It's still about interoperability. If we agreed to adopt the exchange of our values on a digital form or our assets from any kind of source or any kind of end user or consumers, we can satisfy the payment elsewhere. Not only from IOTA or from any kind of vehicle, or maybe from the inside of the plane during the traveling, we can also use that. Anyway, we have a possibility to make payment online or to use that.
What was for you most interesting in yesterday's conference and the Ukrainian blockchain community in general?
The most interesting parts, I would like to make a joke now. I was sitting there whole day and listening some presentation on Russian, and I tried to learn Russian, but without success. Maybe for the next year, for the next conference, I will be more prepared and do my presentation on Russian, probably.
Many presentations were in English.
Yeah, of course, I know, but just for joking. It was really good, really nice. I was mostly on a product stage because of 3 different stages was on conference. And I saw, I already mentioned, I found a very good community here, and most of the presentation were from the community around the Kiev, and they showed the really deep knowledge about the technology. It's not only based on PowerPoint presentation, and we can do that, or it is possible to do with a blockchain or a cryptocurrency or some other technology around the blockchain. They shows some methodologies that are really useful and implementable. You can implement it very easy and nicely into any production. That's what most part. I would not say particularly this presentation was the best from my side. In general, I'm really impressed and satisfied that the community is really strong, and I'm pretty sure that they are doing a right thing for the future.
In your speech, you mentioned the particular case, how blockchain can be implemented into tourism industry. And as I understand, that paper was published in some Spanish scientific journal.
Yes, it was last year. It is published.
Can you tell a bit more about it? And is it already working on some prototype or alpha version? And how blockchain can be used for tourism?
Of course, it could be useful because we are trading with everywhere with some kind of assets, digital assets. The tourism as a part of industry, as a vertical, is full of diversity of digital assets. From one side, we have the people that want to travel, they want to produce some traveling guides on their own. They want to travel on some parts of the world. They are researching some parts of the world. They are collecting information, changing those collected information with their own minds in some digital values, and ask for their digital values how to get the best price or the best possibility to achieve that during their vacations. From the other side, we have tourist operators. They are preparing also their offers based on some research or on some offer directly from the field, from the tourist organization elsewhere in the world. And also in the middle, we have some institutions, some tourist organization that doing some verification process between those two parties. I don't want to say yes, now we have to remove that middle part that make verification, but it takes too long to make a verification between offer and publication up to the end customer in the tourism. If you want to fly somewhere tomorrow, there are also last minutes, we know already for that, but we cannot find it in all parts of the world. There are only similar parts, simple parts that we can on airports or some tourist operators that we can just jumping in the last minute. Why? Because they have to be verified also from someone. If we put that in a distributed ledger technology or in the blockchain-based technology, the central point will be removed, simply removed, or transformed into the way of verification body. If we have the verification body inside the cycle of all parties, the verification process will not take so long, too long times to make the verification process, and also the costs of the tourist operator and also the benefits from the customer side will be much better.
Now one of the trending topics is tokenization. There are even activists who want to tokenize everything, and I was just thinking that and interesting to know your opinion. For example, if in manufacturing some new factory is created, let's say a new car factory, and the investors can tokenize the stock. So for example, everybody can invest in stocks, even starting from one, let's say, Mercedes coin, and then we will have either the right to buy a car on the lower price with discounts, or the right to have profits, so
yes,
functioning as a stock. Do you know if there are some cases which try to tokenize this manufacturing, let's say new businesses manufacturing which are created? Because there are now many projects which want to tokenize art, tokenize real estate, and some projects are working on some scale. How is it developing in terms of Germany as a cradle of manufacturing? Do you know some particular examples?
Yes, I'm personally involved in one of them in the production. Actually, it is about the quality control. The point of tokenizing the process inside the supply chain or inside the manufacturing is to tokenize or to put in the blockchain all the parts from the very beginning from the production. If we put some small parts of the very beginning, we are pretty sure that and somewhere during the transportation or delivery or up to the end customer, we will have lower costs on many points. For example, I'm involved now at the moment in the project that implement private blockchain or a distributed ledger technology based methodology with Corda, and particularly will be based and focused on quality control directly at the place where the products are produced, at the manufacturer side. It is about the production that is held in China, for example, and directly on the quality measurement at the place, they put those data into the blockchain. And there is no need to wait the process, because the end customer will also know at the end where the products comes from and which data that they can deliver from the very beginning. But also the producer, the owner of the products from the first part will know which products are really good, which should be directly at the moment from the early stage of the production replaced with another one. Also, we will improve one more steps inside the manufacturing process because of the fraud, the possibility of traceability the product into the line, as it happens that the products are during the process of delivering from manufacturing stock to the end customer, are replaced with a fake one. With the blockchain-based technology, we can trace it if they are really the originated by the producer from their side. I hope this will be in the next few weeks on a test net because it is based on Corda technology, and the next step will be a bridging our part that we are already developed and tested locally in our testnet with public blockchain to make some hybrid solution because of the most of the data will be exchanged inside a private network between the producers from the raw material suppliers side and from the manufacturing and the product owner, and also the public chain will be some of the data possible to transfer on the public blockchain, so the customer and the user can just with a scanning with a QR code or a barcode or entering the number of the serial product of the number can go backward through whole history where the product has established and how the data are updated during the process, because we are always updating the process of inside the blockchain process from the beginning. Once the product is established and manufactured and finished in the production, the first blockchain, the first block inside the blockchain will be on each step during the transfer updated with the new data. So the end customer knows in the list what happens in between from the moment of the producing up to the moment that he has to use it on their side.
And now let's give the opportunity to other participants of today's Crypto Dinner to ask a question or express an opinion. Today we have Eve, Hedera Hashgraph ambassador, Olga, blockchain developer, and Victor, crypto trader, crypto analytic. So if you have questions or you want to express opinion, please feel free to do it.
Please, I would like.
You said Mercedes is launching its own coin.
Crypto coin.
Crypto coin.
Crypto coin.
But I didn't understand fully how exactly they will make this.
They just make it as a test project towards ecosystem. Their ecosystem to be fully paid from the customer side. They want to reward their customer with using their system with some possibility afterwards. It's not just a payment. We are driving and paying anything we can. It's just a test. It's a proof of concept that should be work inside the vehicle. And any customer, the ordinary customer, can use any crypto with their crypto coin transferring during the drive.
I'd like to return to the topic of interoperability.
Yes.
Do you understand it as a technical problem or process problem?
Both.
Both.
Because the interoperability is not only a part of the infrastructure; it is a part of the infrastructure, because we have to accomplish all the parts inside any technical cycle to communicate to each other. It's not only a protocols or a way they are transferring the data. It's also a semantic part. The parties has to understand each other. They need to know what are they talking to each other. The common language between them is actually interoperability. It's on the both sides. It's not only a technical part. It could not be once before or after the one is. It's not possible. It's just to make a synergy of both of them.
It sounds pretty complicated. Can we just take, there are existing rules for communication already. Can we just take them and try to translate?
If you have a good methodology or a nice consensus methodology, we can transfer it directly into the smart contract or any kind of way of transferring the data. As it is a part of data exchange process. Because we are talking now and we are producing some data. The data are oiling our lives every day. It's oil, and without that oil, we cannot exchange our thoughts, our minings on a daily basis. And if we find always the way how to accomplish them, if you said, yeah, okay, we have written that rules, so to say rules, and we agreed that the rules are part of our smart contract that we will put inside the network, then we can use it. It's agreement already done between us and transfer it into the digital form. That's the only part how to transfer it from asset as a physical object or some objective part into the semantic useful form during some process.
That would imply that everything starts with an agreement between participants.
Of course, that's the point.
From a business point, I very much like you words about how do you combine public blockchain and private blockchain.
Yes.
Because from my experience, I know that businesses, they don't consider public blockchains as ultima tool. Okay, something which they invest heavily from the beginning. They prefer something to be more in-house or something which they can manage, can deliver, can have some power over. And probably those combinations of private blockchain, but private blockchain, it's very much vulnerable from there's much more vectors of attack.
Yes.
So and when you combine it, so you probably have a lot of good outcomes. You can have best of both worlds. So
That's right. That's right. The first point when I start thinking and talking about the hybrid blockchain solution was actually in the area of the healthcare, because nowadays we are producing so many data, especially in the healthcare. There are also images, some textual data, some findings from the physician side. The patient should get care elsewhere from one hospital to another hospital. Hospital also produces a bunch of data. The other institutions in the life insurances and so on, so many data. In the public blockchain, we have no possibility to put all those data inside a block or inside one transaction or more than one transaction. It should be also fragmented. That is not the solution the blockchain should deliver to the end users. That belongs to the party of scalability. The public blockchain has no possibility to scale on that level to complete content put inside the blockchain. Therefore, is much convenient to put some of the data of the assets from yes into the private blockchain is free to scale. It's open to scale, and also it's easy to trace inside the different parties. And just the one part that is for the identity management, for example, or some part of also from responsiveness should be put inside the public blockchain. And bridging those two, we can put all that process in real success. Because if you put just a part of data in the public blockchain, not enough data that a patient comes to his physician or in the hospital, without data, it's not enough. We have to have the old data from the history, from the patient history. When you came to the physician, they ask you, hey, what papers you have? What do you have from your history? It's not only to make examination at that moment. It's okay, but what's about happens previously? I want to see that if something happens, if you have some surgeries or some injuries or anything. All those data should be placed inside the private blockchain in some encrypted or decrypted form in any way, but the connection with the public blockchain with the private keys between should be like a delivery method. And that's from my point of view, it's a really huge step forward, also making an interoperability between different parties using the hybrid blockchain solution, because they're all under the same umbrella. It's not something different.
For me, that's another reason is like security, because like private blockchains is this are known to be like less secure than public.
That's right.
So and when you combine both, you have like you can get this security of public blockchain on the private blockchain.
Yeah, of course, because the main data you need about the identity will be placed on a public blockchain, and with some private keys connected to the content data. If someone broke to the or took the part of the content without identity or without some special parts that should be defined inside the process, the data are useful. They cannot use it. If, for instance, if you broke my data that are placed in the private blockchain without the insurance number or my identity or something like that, what for? That the physicians 2 years before has written something during my examination which is not relevant data. Maybe relevant, but most of those, the kind of those data should not be relevant without identity. Because that's the point, combining those two parties. From one side, very strong identity, and big content is also covered with some kind of security. And I suppose in the near future, also the private blockchain should publish some more secure content inside, because we are still in the evolving phase. It's not. We are early stage of implementing blockchain. It's not totally, completely covered on all parties inside the industries and the different verticals. We have still to put that in the way of working.
It was like a little bit more technical question. Yeah. What do you exactly use to store data on this private blockchain? Do you use like IPFS for some?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So IPFS. IPFS at the moment. IPFS combining with the Corda and Hyperledger, it's working really good.
Okay. Yeah.
It's okay. That's three different technology, three different vendors, but one part is on IPFS, so we store the data. Also, the big chain DB is a part of one. Different solutions gives the possibility to involve different technologies to implement that. But IPFS is one, from my opinion, one really respectable technology for the next future.
And legal question. Like, because everything which is connected with the data, and like in the European Union, it's kind of very highly regulated. Like if it's personal data, there's like hundreds of laws or hundreds of regulations. So how do you like do with all this stuff?
Based on GDPR. Okay. It's based on GDPR. The European Union has already proclaimed the points, many points of the GDPR that should be fulfilled inside any use of personal data, and the blockchain gives the possibility to fulfill that, more or less. Depends on a technology that is used, but I have already seen some useful. I don't want to mention the company. They are already on the market. They already did a solution with, for instance, with the Hyperledger, how to make identity management with completely covering GDPR, all the points. It was in the first moment was enigma how to do that, but early after the proclaiming the GDPR on the daylight, they just did it very quick, and it's already there are already solutions for some banking or some trading platforms that are based on also in their technologies also involved and based GDPR as the important point.
And the last question for today: you travel a lot into different blockchain conferences all around the world. We met in Portugal, in Frankfurt, now in Kyiv. Kyiv is one of the major blockchain capitals too. And you plan, we spoke to travel to some more conferences this year. Maybe you can name some so our viewers can follow your recommendations. Yes. And what you see the general trend, how is the industry moving forward?
This year I will be next month I will be on two conferences in Berlin and in in Amsterdam also with based on e-health and healthcare innovation technology. I will speak about the e-health models, how to put inside the e-health blockchain technology, and all of them are based on DLTs. I can say that the distributed ledger technology is the umbrella that will cover all other verticals. Inside that umbrella is also a blockchain itself, with all possibilities that it gives and care out with him. Most of the industries are not still ready for completely openness. There is no still a solution that all that could be supplied as an open technology and like a real blockchain. We have still to combine those two. Therefore, I'm proclaiming the hybrid solution will be in the next period something that will be mostly in the focus of conferences and talking about implementing a blockchain or distributed ledger technology at all. That umbrella will be covered with more. That's also inside that umbrella is blockchain, cryptos, and digitizing processes and much more.
Yeah, thank you, Dean, for a very interesting conversation. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet on somewhere in future in the next crypto breakfast or crypto dinner. So,
thank you for the invitation and for your questions, and thank you.